This is Elizabeth Langbarton of Certified Credits Talk Data to Me podcast, and we're live at MBA Annual with Blake Boss of Active Comply. Hey, Blake.
Hey, everybody.
So, Blake, tell us a little bit about yourself and Active Comply.
Well, myself, I'm going on 7 years in the mortgage industry, and I've started with Active Comply now for the past year, and we've been helping mortgage lenders safely use social media and make sure that they're regulating or following all regulations, whether it's state by state or federal.
Right.
And we're really giving lenders the ability to use social media effectively and compliantly to generate more business, especially in a market right now.
Right. So, talking about right now we're sitting at MBA Annual.
Great conference.
One of the things that we talked about last night was what should you post and what shouldn't you post whenever it comes to professionalism and compliance.
Right.
Good example. We were out last night with some of our friends from the mortgage industry, and we have lovely photos together, but it's probably not appropriate to post whenever this is going to be seen by your client.
Right. And one thing that Allie and I both agreed on is we hate seeing beer bottles in photos when it's a professional environment. For some reason, the beer bottle just has some bad connotation in my head.
Right.
And Allie also agreed. So we think it's best to really remove all images of alcohol.
Right.
I think plastic cups are fine as long as
and I think it also depends on your context. So
of course,
when we're talking about, a professional presence and we're talking about you're with your, let's say, borrower, sharing that you have a beverage in front of you, if you can detect what that is, it's probably best to push it to the side and take that nice photo. One of the other things that we were talking about a little bit is the video content. So compliance around video content gets a little sticky.
It's tough.
So what are some tips that you guys offer to lenders whenever you're creating video content?
When it comes to video content, we always say, from a marketing standpoint, be consistent.
Right.
You want to be that relationship that lenders didn't have the past 2 years with the refi environment. It seemed like lenders and loan officers always were just, it was just an order-taken environment, and they were moving away from the relationship-focused sell that the mortgage industry is very known for. So now that the market's getting tougher, using social media and using video content to regenerate that relationship-focused sell is really going to be a game changer right now.
Right.
But from a compliance standpoint, it's tough, We always say steer clear from talking about products, steer clear about talking about rates. It's really about talking about the brand itself. We always think brand promotion is one of the best things you can do for video content because it is generally compliant and it's also entertaining, and it's also going to help the business altogether.
Right. And going back to the conference perspective, I've seen a lot of success for a lot of the lenders here that they go around, they walk around the conference room, they take videos with their friends explaining the market, they talk to their fellow lenders, they talk to vendors, and have conversations that are going to bring value to their borrowers.
Absolutely.
But when we're talking about that compliance side, we're talking about don't talk about rates. Are there other things that lenders need to be doing? Do you need to be putting your NMLS number on there? Do you need to be focusing on those real compliance heavy practices? And if you're not sure what to do, what should you do?
Right. And we're seeing that as the low-hanging fruit. It seems like regulators are citing the most for missing your licensing information on your profile itself.
Right.
It seems simple enough just to include that, but a lot of the times loan officers aren't including their NMLS ID number, the company's NMLS ID number, equal housing logo, or even just like the equal housing verbiage. A lot of loan officers forget that, and that's really what regulators are citing for the most because it's just out there. It's easy to pick up. I would say from a regulatory standpoint, I'm sure examiners are going through post content for someone's Facebook page or LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever it may be, but it is so much easier for a regulator just to look at the profile, the bio section, see you're missing some information, okay? And even some states like Texas, you need to have the Texas Consumer Complaint Disclosure visible on the profile.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And a lot of loan officers forget to do that for Texas. So if you're licensed in Texas, make sure you have that. Some lenders satisfy this requirement differently, but generally you need to have the link to the portal to file a complaint.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And all these other states have different requirements too that people miss. But really, just profile-related compliance is one of the most important because regulators are citing like crazy for it. Recently, Active Comply, we went to an ARMOR conference. It's the American Association of Residential Mortgage Regulators Conference.
Ooh, that's an acronym.
Right. and at that conference, we got to meet with all these state regulators.
Okay.
And a lot of them were saying that they'll just search up the top 25 producers at a mortgage company and
Oh,
look them
wow.
up on social media. Just look them up on Google, find their social media, and they're only looking at the top 25 producers.
Okay.
All right.
But if you're under that top 25, you still need to be careful.
You still need to be careful, but it's amazing to see that the enforcement for social media compliance, regulators are still learning.
Right.
You know, it's hard to really find all the social media out there
Right.
if you don't have a platform like ActiveComply. And of course, regulators will never get their hands on our software. But it's very important to see that if you don't have some sort of automation in place to really capture all that social media out there,
Right.
you're really going to fall behind.
Right.
You really will.
So when we're talking about they're just catching up now, they're just figuring out social media now. What does that mean for coming trends? What kind of regulation changes are we going to see?
Well, it's interesting because there's social media platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and they have limited bios. So on Instagram, I don't know how many characters you get, but let's say you get 150 characters for your
Right.
bio section. How do you fit disclosures, licensing information in this small little piece of text?
Yeah.
How do you fit it all right there? It's very difficult to remain or stay compliant. So I think as more social media platforms become those limited bio sections, regulators will see that it's nearly impossible to house all of that information in that
Right.
small bio section.
So are there ways for lenders to get around that? What are some tips and tricks that they're doing?
Absolutely. So a lot of our lender partners that work with ActiveComply, we have a product called License Link, and it's a small link similar to some
Like a
people
Bitly?
like a Bitly or like a
Okay.
link tree almost, and it's a single link, and it's just one click away to have all the active licensing information being
Oh, very
pulled in
cool.
straight from the NMLS database. So we're going to be able to see the accurate licensing information with all, and we match all the specific disclosures for each state license.
Okay.
And this is a great way to keep those limited bio platforms compliant by using
Right.
a platform like License Link that ActiveComply offers to our clients. But there's other ways to do it. Some lenders have their own landing pages with licensing information. It is okay to do it like that, but just be careful about how many clicks away that information is.
Right.
Just
right.
make sure
it
how
has
far
to be
away it is.
accessible. You
It
need to make
does.
sure you're following the rules and regulations in it. So
Absolutely.
very cool, Blake. Well, thank you so much for this wonderful advice.
Yeah.
Today we learned what should you be posting at a conference, what shouldn't you be posting,
Right.
and how to make sure your profile is compliant. So
I like it. Well, thank you for having
appreciate
me.
you coming, joining us.
Yeah.
If you look to the television, your lovely cohorts, your
Oh, look at
coworkers are
them.
on here.
I see
Gabby and
those.
Melissa.
Gabby and Melissa, they are rock stars.
They
at
joined us today.
ActiveComply.
So, but thank you so much, Blake. It was so great to see you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right, bye guys.